Okay.
Check. 1, 2, check. Sibilance.
Hello guys, today we have Waiting Late and we have our special guest, Mr. Armstrong. I'm going to be asking him 5 questions about school today. So Mr. Armstrong, firstly, how are you doing today? How are you doing?
Well, one of the things I've been practicing lately is when people ask questions like that, status questions, I've been giving responses like this. I'm excited to speak with you today. Rather than saying something pedantic and empty like quote unquote good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be back here for take 2.
Yeah.
Pop mic session. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question is, how have you seen student life change during your time teaching here in the MUCC?
Well, I think the primary one is COVID. And COVID changed all of us, I think. It revealed, in many cases, who we are, and trials and tribulations and crises will often do that. We tend to adopt a certain veneer, a public face, a persona, and often that veneer is very thin, and when there's any kind of like friction or shaking that takes place, that veneer cracks, and I think COVID revealed that. Where it impacted us here at a school level was things like the mask mandate and the block system. So that certainly changed the culture of the school and the community, larger community. But in terms of the students were affected by that, as were the teachers, and we're seeing that now as our quote-unquote COVID cohort is now reaching grade 11, grade 10 age. They missed something. And there's something to be said about, individualized homeschool learning opportunities, but this was under heightened, stressful, troubled circumstances, where often families, well, for example, my family, my dad was immunocompromised, and the mask mandate was important to me because we weren't sure, right, if I were to catch COVID and pass it on to him, and there were reports of people dying, and you don't want that, you don't keep control of it. So that fear, that paranoia, I think, crawled its way into the fabric of our culture, and has sort of stayed there. But seeing that, and then out of that came this dependency on life in the digital world, and that, what I call the look down generation. So when we're looking down, we're missing a heck of a lot looking up. And a lot of people have issues with the phone policy that the Scotland Most government introduced. But I've seen nothing but positives in terms of how people are interacting. Truly, it makes doing the job that we do difficult, especially with connectivity issues and access to technology. But the fact that when you finish 5 minutes early, you turn and talk to each other, and that was sorely missing in the last 5 years. So there always used to be this thing: the kids haven't changed, the adults changed, but the kids did change, right? And this is who they are now. But we were all changed.
That's a really good response, because like COVID, after life just changed basically. It was more silence, I'll say. Some situation and stuff.
And in silence is a vacuum, right? And so often we want to fill that silence. Or what do we fill with? Like hateful rhetoric, words of division, pointing fingers, blaming. Human beings are easily scared. When we get scared, we get mean.
All right, for our second question, can you share a memorable experience you had with students at this building?
Certainly. I've had the opportunity, inside classroom walls, and then of course outside as a coach and director, to share many opportunities with students. But my children also went to school here, and one of the reasons we were drawn to MUCC was the opportunities that they would have. And my son and Mrs. Bagsit and I, we started Teen Drama in 2016, and through that experience, both my children, my son primarily though, both my children had opportunities to perform at the provincial level, and in 2022, in Sawyer's grade 12 year, we readied 2 plays, and he was a lead in both plays, and both advanced to provincials for the first time in SDA history, and both were highly recognized and awarded. One of the plays won provincials, and Sawyer, along with 3 of his castmates, won the only 4 top acting awards, and 3 of them won, and he was celebrated but seeing him on the stage doing what he loves with the people who he loved, one of them is partner, still his partner in life. That's one of those things that you can't replace.
Yeah.
And then in terms of my daughter was highly competitive, athletic young lady, and having the opportunity to coach her and be a part of the team that in 2022 made it to Hoopla. My daughter had the opportunity, or fortunate or misfortunate opportunity, to be fouled in the last 2 minutes of the game, and we were tied against a team going into, this was a semi-final game, and so Emerson went to the line, and Emerson is one of her superpowers was her shooting, and so her three-point shooting and her free throw shooting, but when you're playing in front of a packed gym, semi-final game, and you're in grade 10, it's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and I actually turned away and couldn't watch it. Mrs. Linnell turned back around to watch and said, "You don't want to miss this." And Emerson hit both, and we were fortunate enough to win that game, and that those two baskets afforded us the opportunity to play in a gold medal game. And as a dad, incredibly proud. As a coach, proud. But it came at a time when we had lost my dad a week earlier.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And as a family, it was something that helped us have a point to celebrate. Right? Yeah, it's wonderful. So those, as a dad and as a teacher, are irreplaceable things. So they stand out.
Yeah.
I never considered the experiences that you have here when that other places been senior high school ever ended.
Yeah, and to the last school I was in, I was the principal, and it's a different experience. And coming here, when you're quote unquote just a teacher, you tend to spend more time on your students than you do on yourself and your own family. And having both of my kids in the building allowed me to sort of cheat the system a little bit and still give what I had to my students, but also spread a little bit over to my own family. So.
Okay, man, that was actually a really good answer and like a thoughtful answer, I would say.
Thank you. I tried.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But the third question is, what do you love most about MUCC? Like the school community in MUCC. I mean,
What do I love most about MUCC? That it felt, for most of the time that I was here, like home.
Yeah.
There was the first little bit was a little shaky. I was, it was tough. Watching my son in grade 7 work his way as a little kid through the hallway in October, Halloween of our first year here, he was bullied for the first time in his life. But in the same breath, on day 1, he and I sat in the cafeteria together because I didn't know where the staff room was. And we sat down with a group of my grade 12s, and they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, having lunch? He's like, no, teacher's eating the staff room. Okay, so I stood up, and he's like, no, you can go. He stays. So Sawyer had lunch for the first week, 2 weeks with the cool kids in grade 12. Yeah, and that's something that I can never repay that group. And so that first, my class of 2017, had a really special place in my heart because they looked after my boy. And I've seen that many times throughout the years. I appreciate that the school, as large as it is, affords opportunities to build relationships. I miss that part of being a caregiver. You know everyone, and you likely went to school with your students' parents. I missed that, and I continue to miss it. I wish I knew my students better. I wish I knew more of their stories. And I think that's part of it I've always struggled with, is that I wanted to know more, but there's a wall that exists between student and teacher. But I've appreciated that in those moments, and there's hundreds of them every year, where that wall comes down, and they look to you to help, and it's a huge burden, but also a wonderful privilege to do that if you take it seriously. I think I've appreciated that as well, that I got to continue that part of the job that I love so much.
Yeah, thank you for that answer.
For our fourth question, throughout the entire time you work here, what would you say your favorite time of day and or school event during the years would be?
Favorite time of the day? Well, I think those initial moments at the beginning of the school year, the school supply time of the year, everything's fresh and crisp, you're getting to know each other. This time of year is usually one of my favorites because the relationships are built, and and the excitement, but also the nervousness of the next steps is there. The work is done. I tend to pace my year where we do a lot of the work at the beginning of the year, beginning of the semester, so we yeah, so well, it's easier on me and easier on you guys. It's taken years to figure that one out. My favorite time of the day fluctuates, but I've enjoyed, well, this semester I've enjoyed my whole day because each class is different. I have a wonderful group of grade 11s. I had my AP 30 class. I had your very large class in the afternoon. It's really not so large because not everybody comes to class. But I have a very, very large group in third period. And then I have a prep, which is wonderful, you know, a chance to recharge. But that's the thing about being a teacher. You can teach the same thing for 30 years, but every day is different and every year is different. I think the best part of my day is when I can have moments where I'm coaching, where it's one-on-one with students. That's when I feel like a teacher. I love telling stories, and I love making people smile and laugh, and I love sharing the things that I'm passionate about. So there's that part of the job I love, but I do the coaching is the part that I appreciate I appreciate the most.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for the answer, because actually a personal thing that you actually hang out with, well, no hang out, but actually coach students on a personal level. So, so actually wrapping it up, and the last question we're gonna ask you is that what do you hope your graduating students, just like us, remember most about your time here in MUCC?
About my time or their time?
Well, about your time here and your time here.
Okay. So, what I'm hoping that they look back on are some of the lessons that I can only speak for myself that I tried to teach, and I've found that I ran into a student around Christmas time in the Midtown Mall, and it's a young man who graduated 5 years ago, and he was a young man who had other things to do other than to come to school some days.
Yeah.
And he saw me and he was excited to see me. That's one thing. He didn't pretend he didn't see me, and I always enjoyed time with him. So you do handshake, and handshake turned to hug, which was kind of cool. I'm a hugger, and we had a chance to catch up, and he shared. He was very excited. He had returned to school and was in engineering, which great fit for him.
Yeah.
And he shared, like, Mr. Ray, I gotta tell you this, like, every time my prof says education, all I hear in my head is fist pump doves. And I was like, well, okay, you remember something from my lessons, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of cases, the kiddos will remember the simple truths. They'll remember some of the lessons from Maury. They likely won't remember how to properly use a semicolon or something like that.
Yeah, me too.
That's what AI is for, right? So, but being a good human and looking back on your time in high school, which is really brief in the story of your life, but so very impactful, as something that wasn't a day-to-day slog or something to hate. And I wish that for both of you. I know both of you have had your own burdens to carry, right, and different stories, and I was not unlike that. I did not enjoy my high school experience, and I wish for my students to, take a step back and go, okay, yeah, there's a lot of bad for sure. We're more apt to see the bad, but where are the nuggets? Where are the little diamonds in the moments? And there's tons of them. Right? And then if you can take that skill and take it into your life, where not every day is a bad day. In quote Shakespeare, there is no good nor bad, only thinking makes it so. Right? And we get to decide that. And I think if students can walk away from that and go, yeah, you know what, today was rough, but we had desserts on the staff room. And, right, for today, I might have had a rough morning, which I didn't, but I might have. I get to have this time with you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
So there's my diamond.
Yeah.
They take that and they pass that on to their little people, and their little people pass it. And pretty soon, things start to change.
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you for that beautiful answer. You actually answered all the questions.
Thank you. I tried.
It's come to an end. And,
okay.
Yeah, we actually.
This is where we wrap things up.
Yeah, wrapping up.
Right. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, and if you like this video, check out some of our other videos. Just right up here. Just give it a click.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time.
Yes. See you guys.